What if the reason you feel so exhausted has nothing to do with how much you are doing, and everything to do with how you have been doing it? If you are a Capricorn who has spent years grinding, pushing, and proving yourself through sheer effort, this message is about to change the way you move through every single day. The truth is, working harder is not your answer anymore. Working smarter is. And there is a very specific shift happening in your energy right now that is practically begging you to stop forcing and start flowing. Most Capricorns have been told their entire lives that discipline is their greatest strength. And yes, it is. But what nobody told you is that discipline without direction is just punishment. You have been punishing yourself, calling it productivity, and wondering why your body is tired, your mind is foggy, and your spirit feels flat. That ends today. Over the next several minutes, I am going to walk you through 10 powerful shifts that will help you do less but achieve more. These are not shortcuts. They are strategies that align with who you actually are at your core. Each one builds on the last, so stay with me all the way through. By the end of this, you will not just feel inspired. You will feel clear. And for a Capricorn, clarity is the most powerful fuel there is. So take a breath, settle in, and let this message reach the parts of you that have been waiting to hear it. Tip 1. Stop measuring your worth by how tired you are. There is a pattern that runs deep in almost every Capricorn, and it starts so early in life that most of you do not even realize it is there. Somewhere along the way, you learned that your value was directly tied to how much you could endure. If you were exhausted, that meant you were doing enough. If you still had energy left at the end of the day, something felt wrong. Like you had not earned your rest. This is one of the most destructive beliefs a Capricorn can carry, and it has been silently running your life for years. Think about it for a moment. When someone asks you how you are doing, what do you say? You say you are busy. You say you are tired. You say you have been working non-stop. And there is a strange sense of pride in that, is there not? Like being exhausted is a badge of honor. But here is what the universe is trying to show you right now. Exhaustion is not a sign that you are on the right path. It is a sign that you are leaking energy in places that do not serve you. You have been taught to associate suffering with progress, and that belief has kept you stuck in cycles that look productive on the outside but feel hollow on the inside. The shift that needs to happen is simple but profound. You need to start measuring your days not by how drained you feel, but by how aligned you feel. Did what you do today actually matter to you? Did it move you closer to something you genuinely care about? Or did you just stay busy because sitting still felt too uncomfortable? Most Capricorns are terrified of stillness. You equate rest with laziness and laziness with failure. But rest is not the opposite of productivity. Rest is the foundation of it. Every architect knows that you cannot build a tall structure on a weak foundation. And right now, your foundation is cracked because you have been pouring everything into the building without ever reinforcing the base. Starting today, I want you to try something different. At the end of each day, instead of reviewing your to-do list, ask yourself one question. Did I feel present today? Not productive. Present. Because when you are truly present in what you are doing, the right things get done naturally. You do not have to force them. You do not have to micromanage every hour. Presence creates flow, and flow creates results that effort alone never could. This is not about doing less for the sake of doing less. It is about doing the right things with your full attention and letting go of the rest. You have spent decades proving that you can handle anything. Now it is time to prove that you are wise enough to choose what deserves your energy in the first place. That wisdom, that discernment, is the real Capricorn superpower. Not endurance, not suffering, wisdom. And once you start operating from that place, everything changes. The opportunities that show up will be different. The people who are drawn to you will be different. Even the way your body feels when you wake up in the morning will be different. Because you will no longer be running on fumes and calling it strength. You will be running on purpose. And purpose is an energy source that never runs dry. But here is where most Capricorns get tripped up. And that is exactly what the next shift addresses. Tip 2. Release the need to control every outcome. One of the reasons you work so hard is because you believe that if you do not personally manage every detail, everything will fall apart. This is the control pattern, and Capricorns carry it like a second skin. You plan, you prepare, you create backup plans for your backup plans. And while that level of responsibility has served you well in many areas of your life, it has also created an invisible prison. when you need to control every outcome, you cannot relax into the process. You cannot trust that things will work out. You cannot delegate because nobody else will do it the way you would. And so you carry the weight of everything on your shoulders alone, wondering why nobody seems to understand how heavy it all is. Here is the truth that might sting a little. You trained people not to help you. Every time someone offered and you said, "No, I will handle it." Every time you redid someone else's work because it was not perfect. Every time you chose to stay up late finishing something instead of asking for support, you sent a clear message. You told the world that you do not need anyone. And the world listened. Now you are surrounded by people who let you do everything, and you resent them for it. But they are simply responding to the standard you set. This is not about blame. This is about awareness. Because once you see this pattern clearly, you can begin to change it. And changing it does not mean becoming reckless or careless. It means learning to trust the process a little more and yourself a little less. That sounds strange, I know. Trust yourself less? But hear me out. The version of yourself that needs to control everything is not your highest self. That version is operating from fear. Fear that things will go wrong. Fear that you will be judged. Fear that you are not enough unless you are managing everything perfectly. Your highest self knows something different. Your highest self knows that life has a current, and when you stop swimming against it so hard, it actually carries you where you need to go. That does not mean you stop steering. It means you stop exhausting yourself trying to control the wind. You adjust your sails instead. Think about the areas of your life where you are gripping the tightest right now. Maybe it is your finances. Maybe it is a relationship. Maybe it is your health or your career. Whatever it is, ask yourself, what would happen if I loosen my grip by just 10%? Not letting go entirely, just loosening. Just creating a tiny bit of space for the universe to step in and do what it does best. Most Capricorns are shocked by what happens when they create that space. Solutions appear that they never would have thought of. People step up in ways they never expected. Doors open that they did not even know existed. Because the energy of control is repelling the very things you are trying to attract. When you are clenching your fists, you cannot receive anything. You have to open your hands. You have to trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by just because you are not micromanaging its arrival. This is a muscle you will need to build over time. It will not happen overnight. But every time you choose trust over control, even in the smallest way, you strengthen that muscle. And eventually it becomes your default setting. Not blind trust, not naive optimism, but grounded, mature trust in the process of life. That is the kind of trust that moves mountains. And speaking of moving mountains, there is a very specific strategy you need to start using immediately, and it has to do with where you are actually spending your time each day. If what you're hearing feels accurate, imagine what could happen if you applied this energy intentionally for 21 consecutive days. That's exactly what the 21-day program in the pinned comment is built for. Daily guidance, focused direction, and real momentum. If you're tired of staying in the same cycle, this is your structure. Tip 3. Audit your energy before you audit your schedule. Most productivity advice tells you to manage your time better. Make lists, prioritize tasks, block your calendar. And while all of that has its place, it completely misses the real issue for Capricorns. Your problem is not time management. Your problem is energy management. You could have the most perfectly organized schedule in the world, but if you are pouring your best energy into tasks that drain you and saving the scraps for what actually matters, you will always feel like you are falling behind. Think about how your typical day flows. You probably start with the hard stuff, the obligations, the emails, the things other people need from you. By the time you get to what you actually care about, your creative projects, your personal goals, your health, your relationships, you are running on empty. And then you wonder why those areas of your life feel neglected. It is not because you do not care about them. It is because you have been giving them the worst version of your energy. Starting now, I want you to flip that script. Before you plan your day, check in with your energy. How do you feel this morning? Are you sharp and focused? Or are you dragging? Are you emotionally steady? Or are you carrying something heavy from yesterday? This is not soft or fluffy advice. This is strategic. Because when you know where your energy is, you can assign your tasks accordingly. High energy hours get your most important work. Low energy hours get the routine stuff and the things that drain you without giving anything back. Those need to be eliminated entirely or handed off to someone else. Most Capricorns resist this because it feels like giving up control. There is that word again, control. But this is not about giving up control. It is about redirecting it. Instead of controlling your schedule, you are controlling the quality of your engagement. Instead of just showing up, you are showing up fully. There is a massive difference between spending 8 hours on something while distracted and spending 3 hours on it while completely locked in. The 3 hours will produce better results every single time. And the remaining 5 hours? Those are yours. Those belong to rest, to reflection, to the parts of your life that have been begging for your attention while you were too busy being busy. I know this goes against everything you have been told. Society rewards the grind. Social media celebrates hustle. And Capricorn energy naturally gravitates toward hard work. But there is a version of hard work that is intelligent, and there is a version that is just habit. Most of what you are doing right now is habit. You are working hard because it is what you have always done, not because it is what the moment requires. The smartest Capricorns are not the ones who work the most hours. They are the ones who know exactly which hours matter and protect those hours fiercely. They guard their energy like it is sacred because it is. Your energy is the most valuable resource you have. More valuable than money. More valuable than time. Because without energy, money and time are useless. You can have all the time in the world, but if you are too depleted to use it wisely, it slips through your fingers. Start treating your energy as a finite, precious resource. Track it, protect it, invest it wisely, and watch how much more you accomplish with far less effort. But there is one more piece to this puzzle that most Capricorns overlook, and it could be the thing that unlocks everything else. Tip 4. Stop saying yes when your body says no. Capricorns are known for their reliability. When you say you will do something, you do it. Period. That is an admirable quality, and it has earned you respect, trust, and opportunities throughout your life. But it has also turned you into a machine that other people depend on without considering the cost. Every time you say yes to something you do not want to do, you are not just losing time. You are losing a piece of yourself. You are training your own nervous system to ignore its signals. Your body says no, and you override it. Your gut says this is too much, and you push through anyway. Your heart says I need a break, and you tell it to be quiet because there is still more to do. Over time, this creates a disconnection between who you are and how you live. You become a version of yourself that exists purely for other people's needs, and you lose touch with your own. And here is the dangerous part. You might not even notice it happening. Because Capricorns are so good at functioning under pressure, you can go years without realizing that you are slowly eroding from the inside out. You look fine on the surface. You are still performing, still showing up, still handling everything. But underneath, there is an emptiness that no amount of productivity can fill. This is not about becoming selfish. This is about becoming honest. When someone asks you to take on another project, and your immediate internal reaction is dread, that is information. When you accept an invitation and immediately start looking for ways to cancel, that is information. When you wake up in the morning and the first thing you feel is heaviness instead of purpose, that is information. Your body has been trying to communicate with you for a very long time. The question is whether you are finally ready to listen. Saying no is not a weakness. For a Capricorn, it might be the bravest thing you ever do. Because your entire identity has been built around being the one who handles things. Saying no means redefining who you are. It means allowing yourself to be human instead of superhuman. It means trusting that your worth is not determined by your output. And that is terrifying for a sign that has spent a lifetime equating doing with being. But on the other side of that fear is a freedom you have never experienced. The freedom to choose what you give your energy to. The freedom to protect your peace without guilt. The freedom to say, I am not available for that, and mean it without apology. Start small. The next time someone asks you for something and your body contracts, pause. Do not answer immediately. Give yourself space to feel what is true. And if the truth is no, honor it. You will not lose the people who matter. The ones who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. And the ones who do not, well, those relationships were costing you more than you realized anyway. This brings us to something even deeper, something that most Capricorns have never been taught to do, and it changes everything about how you approach your goals. Tip 5. Redefine what success actually means to you. You have been chasing a version of success that was handed to you by someone else. Maybe it was a parent, maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was society as a whole. But somewhere along the way, you adopted a definition of success that was never truly yours, and you have been running toward it with everything you have without ever stopping to ask, is this even what I want? Most Capricorns are so focused on the climb that they forget to look around and ask themselves if they are even on the right mountain. You are excellent at setting goals and achieving them. That is undeniable. But achievement without meaning is just motion. It is movement without direction. And after a while, all that movement starts to feel empty, no matter how impressive it looks from the outside. Think about the goals you are currently working toward. Really think about them. Whose voice do you hear when you imagine reaching them? Is it yours? Or is it someone else's voice? A voice from your past telling you what you should want, what a successful person looks like, what you need to accomplish to finally be enough. If you are honest with yourself, you might realize that many of your goals are not about fulfillment at all. They are about proving something. Proving that you are smart enough, strong enough, disciplined enough, worthy enough. And the problem with goals that are rooted in proving is that even when you reach them, they do not satisfy you. You hit the target and immediately set a new one further away, higher up, more demanding. Because the hunger was never about the goal. It was about the wound underneath it. The wound that says you are not enough as you are. This is the moment where real transformation begins. When you stop and ask yourself, if nobody was watching, if nobody would judge me, if there were no expectations from anyone else, what would I actually want my life to look like? The answer might surprise you. It might be quieter than you expected. Simpler, less impressive by the world's standards, but infinitely more fulfilling by your own. Maybe success for you is not about the title or the income or the status. Maybe it is about waking up without anxiety. Maybe it is about having time to do the things that light you up. Maybe it is about deep, genuine connections with people you love. Maybe it is about feeling at peace in your own skin for the first time in decades. Whatever it is, let it be true. Let it be yours. Do not judge it for being too small or too ordinary. There is nothing ordinary about a person who has the courage to define their own version of success in a world that is constantly trying to define it for them. Once you get clear on what success truly means to you, something remarkable happens. The pressure lifts. The frantic energy calms down. And you start making decisions not from fear or obligation, but from alignment. Every choice becomes simpler because you have a filter. Does this move me toward my version of success, or someone else's? If it is someone else's, let it go. You have carried enough. It is time to travel lighter. And there is a very specific way to put this into practice, which leads perfectly into what comes next. Tip 6. Build systems instead of relying on willpower. Here is something nobody tells Capricorns because everyone assumes you have unlimited willpower. You do not. Nobody does. Willpower is a depleting resource. Every decision you make throughout the day chips away at it. By evening, you are running on fumes, making poor choices, and wondering why you cannot stick to the habits you know would change your life. This is not a character flaw. It is biology. And the solution is not to develop more willpower. The solution is to stop relying on it altogether. The smartest approach is to build systems that make the right choices automatic. Instead of deciding every morning whether you will exercise, set up a routine that removes the decision entirely. Your shoes are by the door. Your workout is scheduled. There is no thinking involved, only doing. Instead of using willpower to eat well, prepare your environment so that healthy choices are the easiest ones. Instead of relying on motivation to stay consistent with your goals, create accountability structures that keep you on track, even when motivation disappears. And it will disappear. That is not failure. That is normal. Capricorns often beat themselves up when motivation fades because they think it means they do not want it badly enough. But wanting something has nothing to do with feeling motivated every single day. Motivation is an emotion. Comes and goes like any other feeling. What carries you through is not motivation. It is structure. It is systems. It is the framework you put in place during your motivated moments that sustains you during the unmotivated ones. Think about it like building a bridge. Motivation lays the first stone, but the bridge is not built by enthusiasm alone. It is built by engineering, by design, by putting the right supports in the right places so that the structure holds even when conditions change. Your life works the same way. Stop waiting to feel inspired before you take action. Instead, design your days so that the important actions happen regardless of how you feel. This is not about removing emotion from the equation. It is about not being at the mercy of it. You can feel tired and still show up if your system is set up correctly. You can feel uncertain and still make progress if the path has already been mapped. The most successful people in the world are not the most motivated. They are the most systematic. They have rituals, routines, and structures that carry them forward day after day, especially on the days when they do not feel like doing anything. As a Capricorn, you are naturally wired for structure. You love frameworks. You love plans. But most of your planning has been focused outward, on your career, your responsibilities, your obligations to others. It is time to turn that planning inward. Build systems for your well-being. Build routines for your peace of mind. Create structures that support your energy, your health, and your happiness with the same precision you have been applying to everything else. When you do this, you stop relying on bursts of willpower to change your life and start relying on the steady, sustainable power of habit. And habits, once established, require almost no effort to maintain. They run in the background like software, quietly shaping your days in ways that align with who you want to become. This is working smarter. This is the Capricorn way when it is fully evolved. Not brute force, but intelligent design. And there is one particular area where this approach makes the biggest difference of all. Tip 7. Protect your recovery time like you protect your work time. You would never dream of missing an important meeting. You would never blow off a deadline or skip a commitment you made to someone else. Your work time is sacred. It is protected. It is non-negotiable. But what about your recovery time? What about the hours that exist for rest, for restoration, for simply being alive without producing anything? For most Capricorns, those hours are the first to be sacrificed. They are the expendable ones, the ones that get pushed aside whenever something more urgent comes along. And something more urgent always comes along, does it not? Because when you are the person everyone depends on, there is always another problem to solve, another fire to put out, another responsibility calling your name. But here is what you need to understand at the deepest level. Recovery is not a reward for hard work. It is a requirement for it. You cannot sustain high performance without adequate rest. It is not possible. Your body was not designed for constant output. It was designed for cycles. Effort and rest, action and reflection, giving and receiving. When you violate those cycles by pushing through without adequate recovery, you do not become more productive. You become less effective, more reactive, and increasingly disconnected from your own intuition. And for a Capricorn, losing touch with your intuition is one of the most costly things that can happen. Because underneath all that logical, practical, strategic thinking lives a deep well of knowing. A quiet voice that always knows the right move, the right timing, the right decision. But you can only hear that voice when you are still enough to listen. When you are constantly going, constantly doing, constantly producing, that voice gets drowned out by noise. And then you start making decisions from your head alone, without the wisdom of your deeper knowing to guide you. This is how Capricorns end up on paths that look successful but feel wrong. They followed the logic without consulting the soul. Starting today, schedule your recovery time with the same seriousness you schedule your work. Put it in whatever system you use to organize your days. Block it off. Make it non-negotiable. And when that time comes, actually rest. Do not use it to catch up on emails. Do not fill it with errands. Do not scroll through your phone pretending that counts as relaxation. Real rest means different things to different people. For some, it is silence. For others, it is nature. For others still, it is creative expression with no goal attached to it. Whatever rest looks like for you, give yourself permission to have it fully without guilt, without the nagging feeling that you should be doing something more useful. You are doing something useful. You are refueling. You are maintaining the most important machine you will ever operate. Yourself. When you start protecting your recovery with the same energy you protect your work, your entire life will shift. You will have more focus during your work hours. You will make better decisions. You will be more patient with the people you love. And you will start to remember what it feels like to enjoy your life instead of just surviving it. There is another dimension to this that most people miss entirely, and it has to do with the quality of your internal dialogue. Tip 8. Change the way you talk to yourself. If anyone spoke to your loved ones the way you speak to yourself inside your own head, you would be furious. You would not tolerate it for a second. But when it is your own voice delivering that criticism, that judgment, that relentless pressure to do more and be more, you accept it without question. You might even believe it is what keeps you sharp. It is not. The voice inside your head that tells you that you are not doing enough, that you should be further along by now, that your best is never quite good enough. That voice is not your ally. It is not pushing you toward greatness. It is pushing you toward burnout. And you have been listening to it for so long that you have confused it with truth. Here is what I need you to hear right now. You are doing far better than you give yourself credit for. The standards you hold yourself to are extraordinary. Most people could not maintain half of what you carry on a daily basis. And yet you look at yourself and see only what is lacking, only what is unfinished, only what could have been done better. This is the curse of the perfectionist, and Capricorns carry it more heavily than most. Perfectionism tells you that anything less than flawless is a failure. It robs you of the ability to celebrate progress because progress is not perfection. It keeps you locked in a cycle of striving without ever arriving. Because in the perfectionist's mind, there is no destination. There is always another level, another standard, another reason why this moment is not good enough yet. Breaking free from this pattern starts with awareness. Start noticing how you talk to yourself throughout the day. Not just the big moments of self-criticism, but the small ones too. The sigh of frustration when you make a minor mistake. The tightness in your chest when something does not go as planned. The way you dismiss compliments because you do not believe you have earned them. These are all symptoms of a relationship with yourself that needs healing. And healing that relationship is not soft or indulgent. It is essential, because the way you treat yourself sets the tone for everything else in your life. When you are harsh with yourself, you attract harshness. When you are impatient with yourself, you become impatient with others. When you refuse to acknowledge your own worth, you end up in situations and relationships that reflect that refusal back to you. Start practicing a different kind of inner dialogue. When you catch yourself being critical, pause and ask, would I say this to someone I love? If the answer is no, do not say it to yourself either. Replace the criticism with honesty, not false positivity, not empty affirmations, just honest acknowledgement of what you are doing well and where you genuinely are on your path. You are allowed to be a work in progress. You are allowed to have areas that need growth, but you are not allowed to punish yourself for being human. That punishment has gone on long enough, and there is a direct connection between how you speak to yourself in the next shift, which might be the most important one of all. Some people watch, others transform. If you want to be in the second group, the 21-day guide in the pinned comment gives you a clear step-by-step process aligned with your sign. This isn't about waiting, it's about moving. Tip 9. Let go of the old identity that no longer fits. There is a version of you that got you to where you are today. That version was tough, relentless, unbreakable. That version did what it had to do to survive, to build, to prove. And you owe that version of yourself an enormous amount of gratitude because without it, you would not be here. But here's the part that hurts. That version has to be released. Not forgotten, not dishonored, released. Because the version of you that built everything through struggle is not the version that will carry you into your next chapter. The tools that got you here are not the tools that will take you there. And holding on to an identity that no longer fits is like wearing shoes that are 3 sizes too small. Every step hurts, but you keep walking because those shoes took you through so much that you cannot imagine taking them off. You can take them off. You must take them off. The identity of the one who always has to struggle. The one who cannot rest until everything is handled. The one who must do it all alone. That identity is not who you are. It is who you had to become to navigate certain seasons of your life. Those seasons are ending now. The energy around you is shifting. You can feel it even if you cannot name it. There is a pull towards something softer, something more authentic, something that does not require you to prove yourself every single day. But stepping into that softer version feels dangerous, does it not? It feels like if you let your guard down, everything you have built will crumble. It will not. What will crumble is the facade, the mask, the performance. And underneath it, you will find someone you have not seen in a very long time. The real you. Not the you that the world shaped. Not the you that your responsibilities demanded. the you that exists underneath all of that, the you that has desires and dreams that have nothing to do with duty, the you that wants to laugh more, worry less, and feel genuinely light for the first time in years. That person is not weak. That person is the strongest version of you that has ever existed, because it takes far more courage to be vulnerable than it does to be tough. Anyone can build walls. It takes a truly evolved soul to take them down. This process of releasing the old identity is not something that happens in a single moment. It is gradual. It is a daily practice of choosing who you want to become over who you have been trained to be. Some days you will slip back into the old patterns. That is fine. Do not judge yourself for it. Just notice it, gently redirect, and keep moving forward. The new identity does not require perfection. It requires willingness. Willingness to be seen as you truly are. Willingness to need help sometimes. Willingness to not have all the answers. Willingness to be in the messy, beautiful middle of transformation without needing to control how it all turns out. You have spent your whole life being the mountain, solid, immovable, enduring. Now it is time to be the river. Still powerful, still purposeful, but fluid, adaptable, able to flow around obstacles instead of having to push through every single one. This does not mean you lose your strength. It means your strength evolves. And evolved strength is what the world needs from you now. Not the old kind, the new kind, the kind that inspires not through force but through presence. And that leads us to the final and perhaps most crucial shift of all. Tip 10. Trust that doing less can produce more. This is the shift that every Capricorn resists the most, and it is the one that changes everything when you finally surrender to it. Doing less can actually produce more. Not because of magic, not because of wishful thinking, but because of alignment. When you are aligned, when your actions match your values, when your energy is focused instead of scattered, when your choices come from clarity instead of fear, you become exponentially more effective. One aligned hour is worth 10 misaligned ones. One conversation rooted in presence is worth 100 distracted exchanges. One decision made from your center is worth 1,000 made from anxiety. But trusting this requires you to go against every instinct that has been programmed into you since childhood. Your instinct says more effort equals more results. Your instinct says if you slow down, you will fall behind. Your instinct says there is always someone working harder, moving faster, achieving more. And if you are not keeping pace, you are losing. Those instincts served you when you were building your foundation. They kept you sharp. They kept you moving. But now they are keeping you trapped. Trapped in a cycle of overwork that produces diminishing returns. Trapped in a mindset that cannot distinguish between progress and busyness. Trapped in a body that is begging for a different way. The universe does not reward force. It rewards flow. It rewards clarity. It rewards the person who has the wisdom to know when to push and when to pause. And right now, this very moment, the energy surrounding your sign is calling for a pause. Not a stop, a pause, a recalibration, a chance to look at everything you have been doing and ask, is this the smartest way? Or is it just the hardest way? Because you have a tendency to choose the hardest path available, not because it is the best path, but because it is the one that feels most deserving to you. You believe that if you did not suffer for it, you did not earn it. And that belief is the single biggest obstacle between where you are and where you want to be. What if you earned things through joy? What if you attracted abundance through ease? What if the next level of your life did not require you to destroy yourself to reach it? These are not naive questions. They are evolutionary ones. They are the questions that the most evolved version of you is already asking. And the answers are waiting for you on the other side of surrender. Not the surrender of defeat, the surrender of trust. Trusting that you have done enough. Trusting that you are enough. Trusting that the universe has been paying attention to every ounce of effort you have ever given, and it is ready to return that investment in ways you cannot yet imagine. But you have to open your hands to receive it. You have to loosen the grip. You have to let go of the belief that your value is tied to your output, because you are not a machine. You are a soul. And souls were not designed to grind endlessly. They were designed to create, to connect, to experience, to grow. And growth does not always look like climbing. Sometimes it looks like resting. Sometimes it looks like letting go. Sometimes the bravest thing a Capricorn can do is absolutely nothing at all. And that brings us to the most important thing I want to leave you with, Everything you have just heard is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you have always been underneath the layers of obligation, expectation, and endless striving. You came into this world with a purpose that goes far beyond what you produce. Your presence alone carries weight. Your wisdom, earned through every challenge you have ever faced, is a gift not just to yourself but to everyone who has the privilege of being in your life. And the fact that you stayed with this message all the way through tells me something important about where you are right now. You are ready. You may not feel ready. You may still have doubts, still hear that old voice telling you that slowing down is the same as giving up. But there is a newer, quieter voice underneath it, a voice that knows that there is a better way, a smarter way, a way that honors your incredible strength without destroying your peace in the process. You have proven everything you need to prove. The world has seen what you are capable of when you push yourself to the limit. Now it is time to show the world, and yourself, what you are capable of when you are at peace. When you move from stillness instead of from panic. When you choose instead of react. When you lead with wisdom instead of fear. That version of you is not some distant dream. It is right here, right now, waiting for you to give it permission to exist. And all it takes is one decision, one moment of choosing differently, one day of trusting that less can be more, that rest can be productive, that you do not have to earn the right to exist by working yourself into the ground. You are already worthy. You have always been worthy. And the life you are meant to live, the one that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. That life is not built through more effort. It is built through better choices, clearer priorities, deeper trust, and the kind of quiet courage that only a Capricorn truly understands. This is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. The shift has already begun. You felt it while you were listening. That subtle loosening in your chest. That small exhale of relief. That flicker of hope that maybe, just maybe, things can be different from here. They can. They will. But only if you choose it. You have two options after this video. Close it and hope things shift. Or decide that the next 21 days will be different. If you choose the second, the structured 21-day transformation aligned with your sign is waiting in the pinned comment. The energy is already moving, the only question is whether you are.